welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see, and if so, be part of this journey with us, growing one big family. And I appreciate all the support I can get. I want to mention that if the video is too fast for you on my tutorials, up top there's 3 little buttons on the right hand corner for most of you. For some of you, it's on your settings as you go to the video. For the 3 little buttons up top, click there. It tells you to slow down the video to the speed you'd like. Also turn the CC caption, which is right next to the 3 little buttons, so you can read all the stitch calling that I'm doing. Down here, everything will be written. You could also choose the language you like by just clicking on the 3 little buttons and go to the language you would like, and you would have it on your own language, everything written down here. So I also want to mention thank you so much for the people that came through for the thread and have donated some money, either through the super thanks or through my PayPal account. Now, when you do the super thanks, YouTube itself takes 30% of whatever you're donating through there. Obviously, PayPal, they don't take anything, but choice is yours. You can do whatever you'd like, as long as you have it in your heart to help out the women in need of thread. And I thank you in advance, and they do too. Please don't forget to give a thumbs up on the video. It's extremely important. Also, sharing is caring. And invite your friends to the channel. I also have the crochet group, private group, if you'd like to be in the private group. All you have to do is request, and one of my monitors will review, as long as you have a profile picture, and accept you into the group. I also have a crochet page. You can follow me through there. On Facebook, of course. This is all Facebook. Also Instagram, if you need any help with creating some patterns and you're stuck and you have Instagram, you can message me through Instagram. It's much easier and faster to get a hold of me. I also have TikTok. Everything is on the description box. All the video links, if I have part 1, 2, 3, also is in the description box below the video. There's a little arrow like a V right on the right hand side below the video. You click on there, it opens up that page, and all the links are there. So thank you once again. We are going to get started. Please be careful if you're involved into the crochet groups. There's a lot of scammers, and they launch links with bits and cuts. These are scammers. They will rob you, your identity, and all your information on your phone or your computers. Don't open those sites up. It's extremely important that you are careful, because there's a lot going on into the crochet groups nowadays. Okay, let's get started, everyone. So we are on row 12, which I've started. So I did my 3 chains. I had turned around, did my shell, 3 chains, continued to do my little loops of 3 chain shell. So this is just a repeat on this row. We're going to change it on the next row. Row 13, we'll change it. And we're just going to continue to do the same thing as we've been doing on the previous rows. So it's just shells and chain 3. And then get to the end. You're going to do your shell, chain 3, go up, turn around, do your shell, chain 3, continue to do your chain 3, and then I'll meet you here on the other side of row 13. Okay, you guys, so I'm on row 13, did my 3 chain, my shell, my 3 chain, my loops, my 3 chain. Now here, 1 double crochet, chain 2. We're going to do a shell, chain 2, another 2 double crochet, that's for our shell, okay, chain 2, and 1 more double crochet. Okay, so that's how we're going to have it on this row. And chain 3, do your loops, and I'll meet you at the end of the loops. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2 chain, shell, 2 chain here, 2 chain, 1 double crochet. So I finished doing my loops. We're going to repeat the same thing on this shell as we did here. 1 double crochet, chain 2, do your shell, chain 2, and 1 double crochet. So we're basically just repeating the same thing on this one as we did on here. And the rest we continue to do the same way as we've been doing. Chain 3 for the loops, all the way to the end. Chain 3, do your shell, chain 3, go up, do your shell when you turn around. Chain 3, continue to do your loops, and I'll meet you here on row 14 when we get here on the other side. Okay, you guys. So, did our shells, not shells, our loops. Here we're going to build 3 groups of shells. So, 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 1 chain space, 2 double crochet, 2 chain. We're building the second shell, 1 chain space, and our third shell, 2 chain space, and 2 more double crochets here. So this is what it looks like. Chain 3, continue to do your loops. Now exactly what we did here, we're doing here on this one too. Okay, and then chain 3, loops, chain 3, do your shell, chain 3, go up, and I'll meet you again back here on the other side on row 15, because it's just a repeat of these shells on this one here. Everything else stays the same. Okay, you guys, so row 17. So I've done my 3 chain, my shell, my loops, which I have 1, 2, 3 loops left, my shell. I did 4 chain, and now here on this second one we're going to create 12 double crochets again. This is the foundation of the 2 pineapples up ahead, because we're closing off the 3 pineapples soon. So we're doing 12 double crochets inside of the middle shell there. Okay, I've done my 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain coming into the next shell, create our shell, and repeat the same thing with the loops on the next pineapple. So you should have 3 left also, 3 chain, and continue on. Of course I got a knot here with my thread, right? So you're going to continue your loops, you're going to do your shell, your 4 chain, and your 12. Let me just confirm here. Yes, your 12 double crochets, 4 chain, and continue your last pineapple. Okay, so I'll meet you at the other side. Once you've turned around, I'll meet you here again on row 18. Is it 18? Better recount that again, right? Yes, we are on row 17. So I'll meet you in row 18 on the other side here. Okay, you guys, so I'm on row 18. We have 2 loops left. I'm going to do my shell, and 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. We're going back to the 3 chains. I'm coming on top of the double crochet exactly like we did the other pineapple. 1 chain space, and do our 12 double crochets. This row will be repeatedly the same way like this until the end. I'll pull my thread here. Make sure you have your 12 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Chain 3. So now we're back into the chain 3s and create your shell again. Chain 3 and do your loops. So we're just going to repeat everything as we just finished doing. Okay, so it's looking like that. Okay, so basically we're going to have the 2 pineapples here. We're almost closing the 3 pineapples out. I'll meet you on the other side on row 19 when we get there. Okay, so getting into row 19. So we're going to do our shell. Three chains, so we're going to continue, and I'll meet you here on the shell. So we are at the shell. We have 1 loop left on this pineapple. Chain 2. We're going to create 3 groups of 2 double crochet. So this shell has 3 groups of 2. Okay, that's row 19. Chain 3, and we're going to create the loops now on our 2 pineapples that we just built the foundation. Okay, so I'll meet you. This is just going to be a shell. We're going to do just a shell and then the 3 chain, but I'll meet you here so you don't get confused. Okay. Okay, so I've reached my shell. This is still row 19. So the only time we're going to have the 3 is here and here at the end almost of the last pineapple. So this shell is only a normal shell, and also this one, because we are close to closing up the 3 pineapples, right? So we're just doing normal shell. And then creating the loops on the second pineapple. So this is what it looks like, right? So we're only adding here the 3, and we're only going to add here the 3. Okay, so I'll meet you on row 20 on the other side. Okay, you guys, so it's going to be row 20. So I did my 3 chain, my shell. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're closing out the pineapple, so 4 chain. If your chain is too loose, then do 3. Coming in the next shell, creating my shell. I'm going to do 1 chain space into the next shell with a shell. Okay, now remembering at the end where we have the other 3 here, we have to do the same thing as we just did. Everything else stays as shells, normal shells. Chain 3 and continue on doing your loops for the 2 pineapples. Okay, remembering when you get to the end, do a 4 chain on here on the last loop. Don't forget we need to do 2 groups of shells on the last one, exactly like here, with 1 chain space. Everything else is just normal shell, 4 chain, and then shell, and then your loops, and then your 2 shells at the end. I'll meet you on row 21 on the other side. Okay, you guys, going to row 21. Now, row 21, we've already done that 4 chain. So we're just going to close shell with shell here. And then we're going to do chain 2 and create another shell. Okay. So create our shell. This is row 21. We're going to come directly inside of the next shell and create a shell. Closing those pineapples out. Chain 1. And create the next pineapple. Continue your loops for the pineapple. We're going to continue the loops. We're going to do the shell. We're going to close out the shell, remember? And then continue again. And here we're going to do the shell, 1 chain, and then shell again, and close out the pineapple. But I'll meet you here just to make sure that you're okay. So I'm going to create my pineapple. Not my pineapple, my shell. I don't know, sometimes my brain is just saying one thing in my mouth, something else, right? Okay, so we've closed out the second pineapple here from the 3 pineapples. And now we're going to continue, and we're going to do exactly here as we did here at the beginning. Shell, 1 chain, and shell again. So I'll meet you on row 22 on the other side. Well, yes, on the other side. Okay, you guys, going to row 22. Now, because we've closed out row 22, we are going to do the walk into the center of the shell and do a 3 chain as if we were doing on here and create a shell there. Okay, let me just check something here just to make sure. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to do the walk. I'm coming into the center of the first pineapple here. 1, 2, 3 chain. I'm coming into the second shell, creating my shell. We need to cut down, right? It's cutting down to the 2 pineapples, so okay. Now, let me just see what's going on here. Okay, so 1, 2 chain, coming into the next shell, create a shell. One, 2, 3, and create your loops of 3 chain. and I'll meet you here on this shell. Okay, you guys, so we're doing a shell. I'm going to do one chain. I'm coming into center of the two shells, creating a V. 1, 2 chain, coming back in and create that V. 1 chain, coming into the next shell and create the shell. I'll show you in a second. Okay. So this is where we've cut the pattern for the 3 pineapples. We walked into the center with 3 chain, did a shell, chain 2, shell, chain 3, all chain 3s, chain 3, shell, chain 1, V in the center, chain 1, shell, and then chain 3, just proceed again with your loops for the pineapple. Okay. I'll meet you here on these shells, okay, right after we finish doing the loops. So we're going to repeat chain 2, create our shell, remembering that we have to cut down here on this side too. Okay, like that. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 chain. I'm going to come in the center of this last, actually not even 3 chain. I don't know what I'm thinking here. I'm going to do 1 double crochet. This would be like the 3 chain that we started here at the beginning, remember? So we're going to turn around. I believe this is going into row 23. I'm just going to count, confirm. So going into row 23, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, chain coming into the center, create the shell. So we're basically doing those 3 chains. We're continuing. One, 2, chain, and into the other shell, create a shell. I have to keep pulling my thread. My goodness. Okay, as you can see, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, into the loops. Okay, and I'll meet you here on the center where we have that V. So we are in the center where we have that V. I'm going to do 1 chain. I'm going to come inside of this V and I'm going to create another shell. One chain again into the last shell here and create a shell. Okay, chain 3 and do your loops for the pineapple. And I'll meet you here at the end. So we are at the end, chain 2 and create your last shell. Chain 3, going to row 24. I hope I'm not saying, calling out the rows wrong. It's just complicated when you're doing pineapples and trying to call out rows. I'm already bad as it is on calling out rows, right? Okay, so again, chain 2, again, create your other shell. Can't be perfect on everything, right, people? I'm far from being perfect. God knows. 1, 2, 3. Create your loops for the pineapple. And I'll meet you here again on the center where we have the groups of shells. Going to do 1, 2, chain coming in and creating shells again. 2, chain, create your shell again. And continue to do your loops. And then again, continue to do your chain 2 here, your shell, your 3 chain going up, turn around, and I'll meet you there. Oh, it's going to be chain 2 and then shell again. I'll meet you back here again. Okay, you guys, going into row 25. So did my 3 chains, doing my shell, my chain 2, coming into the next shell, do my shell, and continue to do your loops. And I'll meet you here on the center. Okay, everyone, so we're on the center. I did my shell. I'm going to do chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming in, doing my shell again. Four chain again, and my shell again. Everything else is a repeat, exactly what we just did at the beginning of this row. Chain 3, and create your loops for your shell, for your pineapple. And then here, we're going to do the shell, the 2 chain, and the shell, exactly how we did it here at the beginning. I'll meet you on row 26 once we turn around. So row 26. So row 26, we need to close out. So we are going to do the 3 chain. We're doing the shell. Okay, and then coming directly into the next one, doing the shell, no chain space. If your stitch is too tight, you can do 1 chain, but not necessarily because we're closing this out. 1, 2, 3. Do your loops of chain 3 to the pineapple. So we have 1, 2, 3 loops, chain 3, create your shell, and now we're going to start the foundation of the last pineapple. So I'm going to do 2, 3 chain. I'm coming in the center one and create 12 double crochets. because we're almost closing out these 2 pineapples. So we're starting the foundation of the last pineapple. Okay, 12 double crochet. I've done my 12 double crochets. I'm going to do 1 3 chain, 2 3, coming in doing my shell. Now I ran out of thread and I had to use 3 strands of number 10 and Lydia. Same thing, it's just that these are Portugal threads, but it's the same size. So 3 loops, and that gives me my 4-ply, or at least close enough to my 4-ply. Okay. Again, doing my double crochet, my shell. Going directly into the next one and doing my shell. It's an easy pattern, but there's a lot of little details, right? Like any pineapple pattern that we create, there's always those little details. 1 2 3 chain going up, turn around, going into row, I believe 27. Okay, so row 27, I did actually, yes, that's fine. The 3 chain, I'm coming directly in the middle of the second shell here, because we are closing out those 2 pineapples, and I've created a shell after my 3 chain. 1 2 3, create your loops. 1 2 3, and you're going to have 1 2 3, you're going to have 2 loops left. 1 2 3, create your shell. 1 2 3, now we're going to do double crochet over double crochet with 1 chain space, like we did with the other pineapples 12 times. So you'll have 12 double crochet with 1 chain space between them. Okay, so do yours, I'll do mine. Okay, so I've done my 12 double crochets with 1 chain space. 1 2 3, create your shell. 1 2 3, do your loops. Create your shell. And doing, let me just see here, we did it at the edge. So we must do at the edge also. So I'm going to come right here on the edge and give it a good stretch so it can just give you height enough to turn around. So turning around, one, two, three, coming in, doing my shell. So I believe this is row 28. Hopefully I'm not wrong, but anyway, if you follow through, you should be on the same row as I am. 1 2 3, coming in. 1 2 3, 1 2 3, just basically 3 chains. Pretty much just going to continue to do just that one pineapple left, so there's nothing to it. 1, 2, 3. So basically did chain 3, shell, chain 3, loop, 1 loop left, chain 3, shell, chain 3. Now we're coming in between the double crochets and creating our pineapple loops, and then continuing again with shells and shell, and then chain 3, turn around. I'll meet you on row 29 on the other side. So I've come to the end, and I don't want you to get confused. I'm going to do, so I did my last shell at the end. I'm going to come directly right on the edge here and do a double crochet. That would equal like a 3 chain. So I'm turning around. 1, 2, 3. Do my shell. 1, 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing basically the last loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I made a mistake. I need to do my shell there. Okay, so pretty much closed out my 2 pineapples with 4 chain, shell, my loops of 3 chain, 3 chain, shell, my 4 chains. Okay, now did my last shell. 1, 2, 3, turn around. This is going to be a piece of cake now. It's just closing out basically the last pineapple out. Do your shell. We're not doing any increases on anything here. We're pretty much almost done. 1, 2, 3. It's just a repeat now. Oops, no 3. We're closing out the pineapples and just going to continue to close out the last pineapple. Okay, so no chain, just shell and shell. 1, 2, 3. And do the same thing to the other side at the end of this row. So do your loops, and then we're going to just do shell with shell, and then I'll meet you there at the end. Okay, so we did the last 2 shells. I'm turning around. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm coming in the second shell, because we are cutting down to only 1 pineapple, right? Just like that. Chain 3 and complete your loops. I'll meet you at the end. So we are at the end. I'm just going to come in the center here and do a double crochet exactly how we started here at the beginning. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Going to come in and do my shell. So the rest is pretty much just a repeat, shell and then loops and shell and loops until we close it out, and do your 3 chain going up. So I'll meet you on the last when we have to close out our 4 chain, okay, because everything else is just the same. It's a 3 chain shell and then the loops. So I'll meet you here on the last one. Okay, you guys, so I've done my 4 chains. I'm going to do 3 chain going up, turn around, coming and doing my shell. Coming directly into the next shell with a shell. Oops, I have such a habit of doing shells with 3 double crochet that I'm making the same thing here. Okay, so now on this last one, just gotta check here. So I'm going to turn around. I'm going to come directly into the center of the shell and do 1, 2, 3 chain. That would equal a double crochet, another double crochet, and another double crochet. Actually, no, it's only 2 double crochets. And I'm going to come directly into the middle of the next one with also 2 double crochets. And this pretty much does it for this. So in order to start to do my edging, I'm going to cut my thread like that. Tuck in this loose ends. We don't want thread to be going everywhere. Make sure that you're faced properly on the right side of your pattern. Of course, once it's blocked, ironed, stretched out, it will look much nicer, right? How beautiful. And then you're going to start from this end right here, okay? I'm going to make these loops, but with 3 chain. So I'm going to start right on this loop here. With a single, 1, 2, 3, come back in. We're going to do that 3 times, 1, 2, 3. You can do whatever edging you want around it. Because I had done the centerpiece with this edging, I'm just going to continue. Makes it easier on me and on the pattern. And then I'm going to do 1 chain. I'm going to come right, so I'm going to skip this whole 3 chain there and go right in the center there. 1 chain. So I'm going to come right here and do again 1, 2, 3, and you see what's best for you, because everybody's tension is different, you know. So I could be skipping 1 whole row while you probably have to skip maybe 1.5 or so. 1 chain. So basically I'm right here where we did those loops. I'm going to come right here in between rows, single, 1 chain, and now here I am on my 3 chains from the shells, and create 1, 2, 3, and do the same thing, the 3 loops of 3 chains. And I'm going to do this all the way to this side here. So basically I'm going to connect a single in between and then do 3 chains of those loops inside where the 3 chains are. And so very simple, nothing complicated about this edging. When I get to the top of the pineapple, which I'll show you in a second, 1, 2, 3. So I have the 3 loops. I'm going to do 1 chain, and I'm going to come in right before the 3 chain there and do a single 1 chain, and then come in again where we have the 3 chain and create those 3 loops of 3 chain in the same space. Of course, you can do just picots. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I wanted to do it this way first because I wanted to make it a little bit different than the official. The pineapple is exactly the same thing as it is on the picture. Of course, I had to add my centerpiece. You'll see a better one, so I have it blocked in my dining room table. But the pineapple pattern itself is the same thing. Now, when it came to the edge of the pineapple, as you can see, I've created the right on the center where we have those 2 double crochets. So I created the 3 chains loop right on the center of it, and then 1 chain and continued back down all the way to the edge. And that's that. No more complicated than that. So this does it for this tutorial. I hope, Suzanne, that this did justice for you. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful pattern. This is in honor memory of Miss Louise, that has been passed for quite a few years, I could imagine. And God rest her soul, and so beautiful and beautiful stitch and creation she has left behind. It's a beautiful memory to have. So thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you to all the viewers. I will see you in the next tutorial. I'll have a little video and pictures at the end. And thank you so much. I hug every single one of you. Until next time, bye-bye, everyone.